Somewhere on the streets of Houston this evening, a killer of children is lurking. He has seen the same media coverage surrounding the death of his victim you and I have. And although the shock of a child dying still reverberates across Texas, it has not yet convinced him to accept responsibility for his actions. Jasmine Barnes was just 7 years old, no doubt enjoying the trip to the grocery store with her mother and 3 sisters last Sunday morning when the red pickup truck pulled up alongside and the driver opened fire. There is at least one report the shooter then sped up to get in front of them, slowed down, and fired again. So this could not have been an accidental discharge. The multiple bullets entering Mom's car wounded her, injured a 6-year-old daughter, and killed Jasmine. Her panicked sisters knew right away she was in trouble, screaming to their mother, "She's not moving." As their assailant disappeared, the search for him got underway. Now, first reports of a bearded suspect, well, they have been discounted. Now the hunt is on for a thin white male, 40s, wearing a black hoodie, blue eyes. Burying a 7-year-old. Think about what that means for a moment for all of us left behind. Next Monday, when Houston school children return to class, there will be an empty desk in one second-grade classroom. Well, at the same time, somewhere on the streets of Houston, an unrepentant killer of children will be lurking. You can comment on Facebook. Look for WFAA.